Strap yourself in, Hoops fans, because the 2025 WNBA All-Star buildup has just taken a left turn off the freeway of normal and is now barreling through a fireworks factory on roller skates. Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom who treats half-court like her personal layup line, looked straight into the camera during the live draft and casually invented the first coach trade in All-Star history. 1 minute Cheryl Reeve is penciled in to run Clark's squad, the next she's shipped across the studio like an express package, and Sandy Brondello is strutting in with a clipboard and a championship pedigree. The league office didn't even have time to open the rulebook before social media melted. Welcome to the Caitlin cinematic universe, where every clause can be rewritten on the spot, and the director also leads the fast break.
The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game is just days away, but we finally know who's going to be on Team Caitlin Clark and Team Napheesa Collier. Let's get into these names. Off the top, it's Aliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, teammates. Then you got Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriafen, teammates. Hello, rookies. Then there's some top-tier choices in Asia Wilson and Gabby Williams, which is a sneaky good pick. One more special twist for this event. The coaches have been swapped. That's right, Cheryl Reeve is now coaching Team Collier, and Sandy Brondello is now coaching Team Clark.
And if the trade itself wasn't wild enough, the broadcast cut to Sabrina Ionescu, and the Liberty Guard looked like someone had just asked her to recite quantum physics in Swahili. Eyes wide, hands on her head, mouth half open. In that split second, she became every meme template on the internet. You could practically see the spinning wheel of surprise buffering behind her pupils. She'd come to draft night expecting a friendly talent swap. Instead, she watched Clark press a big red chaos button and rewrite the itinerary in real time. Slow-motion replays of Sabrina's double-take flooded timelines, each caption more dramatic than the last. If astonishment were a stat, she just posted a career high. Sandy Brondello didn't have the luxury of stage fright.
Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry, ESPN, if that's not in the rules, but we just made it a rule. So, Sandy Brondello, come on over.
Whoa!
Let's get to it. You can coach Sabrina. So, therefore, maybe Stewie wants to come on over to my team.
Whoa!
Let me know. Fee, you want to give me Stewie?
We have breaking news here. I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star game. This is something that you're agreeing to, Fee. There's no terms to this deal.
I agree with Cheryl, I agree with the trade. I love Cheryl, she's my coach here. And you know what, that's just gonna be worse for Team Clark because now we got more chemistry on our side, we got more synergy, we know what we expect from each other, so that was a bad move on your part, Kayla.
But let's be real, it wasn't just about the move.
Her teenage son pinged her phone mid-broadcast with, "Mom, you just got traded." And she laughed so hard she nearly dropped her earpiece. A coach with a ring from Phoenix and back-to-back finals trips with New York was suddenly handed the keys to the most hyped backcourt since Splash Brothers 1.0. Brondello flashed a grin broadcasters called pure Aussie chill, gave a thumbs up, and started diagramming ways to turn logo threes into layups. She knows talent when she sees it, and Clark's range stretches farther than an outback horizon. On the opposite bench, Cheryl Reeve wore the tight smile of a seasoned competitor who just learned she'll be coaching against the player her social media timeline once shaded. Reeve is a four-time champion, a master of game plans, but everyone in the arena could feel the subtext. The rookie she left off last summer's Olympic roster just sent her packing with a polite wave. It wasn't disrespectful. Clark's too media savvy for overt trash talk, but it was decisive, a chess move delivered with no-look pass flair. Clark's explanation was vintage Midwest understatement sprinkled with mischief. "I don't know if it's in the rules. I don't really care."
At the end of the draft, Caitlin and Fee had the option to trade any players, but instead of players, Caitlin said that she wanted to trade coaches. Originally, Cheryl Reeve was supposed to be coaching Team Clark, and Sandy Brondello was going to be coaching Napheesa's team. But Caitlin said, "Nah, let's switch. Fee, you can have your coach." But there might be something deeper. I wonder if Caitlin has been keeping receipts of some of the things that Coach Cheryl Reeve had to say about her, including this little Twitter exchange that happened last year. They were tweeting about the preseason game and that the links weren't being televised. Somebody said, "Is there a reason why it's not being shown?" Another user said, "Because they only care about Caitlin," and Cheryl Reeve responded, "That part." Since fans have been calling her out about this last year and also
"We already decided we're trading coaches." She said it like someone deciding on pizza toppings things, not appending decades of all-star tradition. The panel couldn't decide whether to laugh or reach for the league constitution. Producers whispered into earpieces searching for grown-up supervision, but the cameras kept rolling and the audience kept roaring. History had already happened, and no one wanted to rewind. Draft night still mattered, and Clark made sure her roster reflected loyalty and firepower in equal measure. She scooped Indiana teammate Aliyah Boston first overall, hugged Kelsey Mitchell soon after, and sprinkled in rookie running mates Sonia Citrin and Kiki Ariafin for good measure. Then came the heavy artillery: Aya Wilson, Gabby Williams, and yes, Sabrina Ionescu, because even if you stun a superstar with a surprise trade, you still respect her 30-foot heat checks. In 1 hour, Clark assembled a squad that looks as if it were drafted by a basketball algorithm trained solely on highlight reels. Napheesa Collier wasn't exactly asleep at the wheel. Her selections, Breanna Stewart, Alyssa Thomas, Eric Ogunbowl, and the ever-underrated Alicia Gray, could headline a playoff roster tomorrow. She even joked that Clark's trade was a gift. "More chemistry on our side," she said, half grin, half challenge. Collier knows Reeve's playbook like a favorite song. If comfort counts, Team Collier might sing in perfect harmony. But style points?
The WNBA All-Star rosters are officially set, and this live was crazier than you could have even imagined, because what do you mean halfway through they just decided to switch coaches? Not trade teams, trade coaches. So they went back and forth. Caitlin Clark got the first pick, Collier got the second pick. She picked Aliyah Boston, then she picked Stewie, then she picked Sabrina, then she picked Alicia Gray.
Now she's just the B-plot in a much bigger movie.
I don't know if this is allowed, but this is what we're going to do. We decided, meaning the two of them decided, amongst the two of them, that they were also going to trade coaches. So now, Sandy Brondello is the coach of Team Clark, and Cheryl Reeve is the coach of Team Collier. So then, Clark is like, let's make it interesting. I've got Sabrina. I think Sandy's going to want Stewie. What do you want for Stewie? We'll trade, because trades are allowed. Napheesa says, what do you got to offer? She's like, I can give you Satu. And she's like, no, I don't think so. If I'm giving up my first pick, I want your first pick. I want Aliyah Boston. Caitlin Clark says,
those belong to Clark, who treats harmony like a drum solo waiting for lasers. Hovering in the background is Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White, whose methodical half-court sets have drawn more side-eye than a missed layup in an empty gym. Pundits whisper that White's playbook reads like a conservatory recital, while Clark plays jazz fusion at double speed. The all-star swap only amplifies the contrast. When given autonomy, Clark opts for Brondello's open-floor symphony, not White's measured waltz. It's an unspoken commentary delivered in 1080p. Social media turned the moment into a digital confetti cannon. Hashtags #CoachSwap and #ClarkControl rocketed up the trending list beside GIF loops of Sabrina's stunned face and Brondello's joyful fist pump. One fan quoted Jurassic Park, "Clark found a way," while another posted a mock exchange of league lawyers Googling all-star coach trade precedent. Even normally stat-only bloggers couldn't stay neutral, dropping lines like, if Shakespeare wrote pick and rolls, this would be Act 1, Scene 1. To understand why this resonates, rewind to July 2024, when Team USA's Olympic roster excluded Clark. Reeve's decision drew polite statements and volcanic debate. Commentators argued ceiling versus chemistry, veterans versus virality. Clark responded by averaging a near triple-double in her rookie pro season and bumping national TV numbers to heights unseen since the league's inaugural year. Fans took notes. Reeve surely did, too. Now the two face each other with cameras rolling and bragging rights on the line. That's not coincidence, it's narrative karma. So, what will this all-star showdown look like? Expect tempo. Clark pushes pace the way a storm pushes a sailboat. Fast, unforgiving, and impossible to ignore. Pair her with Ionescu, another tempo tyrant, and possessions will feel like fast forward. Brondello loves early drag screens that morph into flare sidesteps for shooters, and her new point guard can sling one-hand skip passes before defenders locate the ball. Meanwhile, Collier's unit should lean on Stewart's positional wizardry and Thomas's bully ball drives. Think jazz versus classical, but both cranked to 11. And yes, every microphone will be calibrated for PG-rated excitement. Clark may burn with competitive fire, but she's too savvy to let a spicy word slip on a global broadcast. Expect phrases like, goodness gracious, substituting for the obvious.
All outside the game plan.
Despite dominating fan votes and receiving a record-setting number of fan votes, Caitlin Clark was only voted 9th in guards across the league by WNBA players for the WNBA All-Star Game. Now, she is going to be a captain in this year's All-Star Game, which is amazing as just a second-year player, but let that sink in for a second. She was voted first in fan votes, the most fan votes of all time for a player, and only voted as the 9th best guard in the league amongst players. That's insane.
The league's monetization team can breathe easy. The only heat will be on the scoreboard. Back to Sabrina, whose momentary glitch has already become part of All-Star lore. Don't bet on her staying stunned for long. Ionescu thrives on challenges the way shooters thrive on backspin. By tip-off, she'll have rehearsed every handoff read and might drop a double-double just to remind everyone she's a headliner too. In fact, her chemistry with Brondello adds another layer of intrigue. Teammates in New York, adversaries here, collaborators again under Clark's command. It's like a buddy cop sequel where partners swap badges for an hour. Across the aisle, Collier and Reeve enter with something Clark's camp lacks: years of mutual trust. Reeve coached Collier to a championship ring as a rookie and has called her basketball instincts elite chess and sneakers. They communicate with nods. Give them Stewart cutting backdoor and Gray spotting weak side, and they'll manufacture silent film offense that still earns roaring applause. Ticket resale sites report prices spiking 60% within an hour of the draft's final buzzer. Families are road tripping to Indianapolis just to soak in practice sessions. One dad told a radio host, "We booked before the swap, but the drama made the drive feel shorter." The duo leads pro sports in surprise right now, and Clark's gambit only turbocharged momentum. Some observers call it stunt marketing. Others call it evolution. Either way, eyeballs are glued. Remember when NBA All-Star Fantasy drafts felt fresh? This eclipses that novelty in pure audacity. Player-for-player trades are fun, but a bench boss swap reshapes identity. Imagine LeBron sending Greg Popovich to the other side and summoning Steve Kerr just for vibes.
It fell through at the last minute. Are you guys going to make any deals or bets on the game between teammates, or what's that going to be like to be foes for a day?
It'll be weird. Maybe we'll just allow each other to trade off baskets and shoot. But no, I mean, the All-Star Game's always fun. It's not that competitive, and it's just kind of you get to go out there, enjoy, have fun, and just kind of celebrate the accomplishments. So I'm excited for all of us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
The WNBA All-Star Draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, the team captains, picking the players, picking the rosters. But the most interesting aspect was the coach swap, because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team, to Collier for Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty. Of course, Reeve is Collier's head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, so that makes sense. But the drama is going to come from Reeve having previously been critical on social media.
That's the magnitude, except Clark did it as a second-year pro still hunting her first playoff series. League officials issued a short statement minutes after the broadcast. The WNBA supports creative fan-engaging elements at all-star events. Translated, there's no going back, so let's enjoy the ride. Insiders hint future All-Star manuals will now contain a coach transaction clause unofficially titled the Clark Amendment. It took 28 seasons for someone to find the gap, and it happened live on cable TV. Meanwhile, back in regular season land, Stephanie White faces uncomfortable questions about system fit. Critics claim her Princeton-style spacing treats Clark like a corner sniper instead of the generational lead guard she is. White answers with buzzwords: process, growth, shared responsibility, but highlight reels tell another story. Clark thrives most when the reins are loose. Brondello's All-Star playbook might become audition tape for unleashing her full fury. Add the players' own ballots to the narrative soup. Clark finished 9th among guards despite leading fan voting by record margins. Some call it rookie hazing, others competitive jealousy. Whatever the motive, Clark's response was to captain the showcase and headline every promo. Actions trump rankings, and nothing screams action like reorganizing the coaching depth chart before dessert. Back to Sabrina one more time, because that smirk to smile to silence progression deserves slow-mo analysis. First phase. Did I hear that right? Second phase. She really said it. Third phase. I'm in this movie whether I bought a ticket or not. By the time cameras panned away, Ionescu had already rebooted, likely plotting the exact moment she'll repay Clark with a no-look dime and the most dramatic high five in All-Star lore. National talk shows spun entire segments around leadership optics. One panel framed Clark as a disruptor reminiscent of a young Allen Iverson, minus the tattoos and with longer range, while another compared Collier's steady approach to Tim Duncan calm. The truth probably sits in the middle. Both captains want the win, but only one just rewrote the formatting guidelines. Don't overlook Brondello's tactical chops. She's famous for disguising sets. What starts as Horn's formation can morph into Spain pick and roll in 2 beats. With Clark at the helm, those disguises become magic tricks. Expect early backscreens for Boston, flare releases for Wilson, and an ocean of space for Clark to hunt pull-ups. Television directors, prep the slow mo cam. Reeve is no spectator either. She'll scheme traps, ice side pick and rolls, force Clark left, force her right, anything to prove strategic superiority. If she snags Erik's microwave scoring and Gray's baseline cuts, Team Collier could turn each quarter into a mini chess match. Offensive flourish meets calculated resistance. High theater, low animosity. Exactly the balance a marquee showcase demands. Parents appreciate that even the hottest debates stay within PG boundaries.
All right, so after the teams were chosen, a surprise moment happened. Now, of course, I'm still feeling it because I was 2 off, man. Two off from picking the entire 2 teams, but it's all good, man. I'm not tripping. Now, at the end, a trade proposal was capable of happening, right? Now, when I was looking at the rules at the beginning, I was like, dang, they could trade? So that portion of the whole draft happened. And I'm like, dang, who are they going to trade? I wouldn't trade anybody. And of course, Caitlin came up saying, I'm fine. I wouldn't trade anybody. But we can trade these coaches.
Coach, you may have been involved in the first ever coach trade of any All-Star game ever. Just want to get your thoughts on that in your mind. First for you, Leo.
They announced it?
Yeah.
That you got traded?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go looking on that.
Traded.
I have no idea what the teams are.
Second time in history now. Jeez, as a player. My son hit me up after he goes, I've created history. This is awesome. I got traded as a coach. But look, I get to coach with Sabrina. I'm on Caitlin Clark's in Indianapolis. I mean, what a great show. So we'll go out there and have some fun.
The fiercest phrase uttered so far is courtside clownery, which sounds more carnival than conflict. It's proof you can deliver rivalries without rancor, an underrated marketing angle as the W Court's new sponsors and younger viewers. When the loudest controversy is a coach trade, you're doing something right. Gamers liken the situation to My GM mode in NBA 2K, where the user turns off salary cap rules and starts swapping staff just for laughs. The difference? Clark's joystick is real life. One analyst joked that Commissioner Engelbert should install a trade veto button on the draft desk next year. Another replied, "Why? Chaos sells tickets." Collier's press scrum delivered equal parts diplomacy and spark. She praised Clark's creativity, then slipped in, "Bad move, though. We've got the synergy now." The line landed like a gentle slap shot, playful yet pointed. Collier isn't entering as a supporting actor. She wants the MVP trophy, and Reeve's system is tailored for her two-way brilliance. Behind the cameras, veteran stars texted each other popcorn emojis. One insider leaked that practice scrimmages felt like Olympic trials with fewer cameras, every possession a statement. Stewart reportedly hit 5 straight corner threes while Wilson answered with a coast-to-coast N1. If practices are that electric, imagine televised tip-off. Sponsorship desks lit up as well. A sneaker brand rushed limited edition Coach Swap colorways overnight, while a streaming platform bought digital banners featuring a cartoon Clark handing Brondello a whistle. Economists call it the excitement multiplier. Every narrative twist adds another layer of commercial opportunity. In that sense, Clark may have generated more revenue with one offhand comment than most rookies do in a season. Youth coaches are already mining the episode for lessons. One viral clip features a junior high team staging a mock coach swap to demonstrate adaptability. The message to youngsters: think creatively, respect authority, but don't be afraid to challenge norms. Clark's maneuver becomes a case study in leadership before age 23. Tech blogs jumped in, comparing the situation to open-source software forks. When communities disagree, they branch and innovate. Clark forked the all-star structure, and suddenly new features, maybe mid-game lineup trades, feel imaginable. Innovation rarely comes from committees. It usually arrives via one bold individual rewriting the command line. Legends wade in too. Sue Bird tweeted a single popcorn emoji followed by "let them cook." Diana Taurasi went on radio calling the move delicious, adding she wishes she'd thought of it in her prime. Anytime icons celebrate a newcomer's swagger, you know the league is evolving. As July 19th approaches, arena staff in Indianapolis rehearse light show cues timed to Clark's intro. The opening sequence will reportedly feature a laser outline of Indiana, zoom to a glowing basketball orbiting the State House, then descend onto center court. Subtle? Not a chance. But subtle left town when coach trades entered the chat. Long-term, the implications ripple across the regular season. If Brondello unlocks a freer version of Clark in a single exhibition, Fever Brass may face pressure to import similar spacing principles permanently. Fans already chant "let her run" during timeouts. After All-Star, that chorus might sound less like a suggestion and more like a mandate. So here we are, one audacious trade, 2 loaded rosters, a handful of memes, and a countdown clock ticking louder than arena buzzers. We've got Clark the trailblazer, Collier the composed assassin, Brondello the tactician, and Reeve the rival strategist. Toss in Sabrina's rebooted focus, Wilson's MVP aura, and a national audience craving novelty, and you've got the recipe for one unforgettable showcase. When the ball goes up, remember how we arrived here. A single sentence, "we're going to trade coaches," uttered with a grin big enough to power downtown billboards. It flipped authority on its head, turned skepticism into anticipation, and proved that sometimes the fastest way to grow a game is to give its brightest star a megaphone. Architects redesign skyscrapers with less boldness. Tonight, every dribble will echo with that audacity. Will Clark's gamble ignite a scoring avalanche, or will Collier's calm dethrone the chaos? Either outcome gifts fans a memory destined for decades of highlight reels. Buckle those seatbelts, friends. The future of basketball is accelerating, and tonight Clark is driving. See you at tip-off, and save your voice because you'll need it by the second quarter.